Welcome to the English Unfolded podcast, designed for you by UK teachers. I want to talk about something today that I think is the real goal for most English learners. Not just being understood, but actually sounding natural.
Yes, because there is a big difference between the two, isn't there? You can be perfectly understood and still sound very formal, or not quite right.
Exactly. And most learners reach a point where their grammar is solid, their
for this episode
in the description with the full something still feels off vocabulary
native
and
speakers
exercises.
can still
tell.
Thank
And
you
that
for
gap
listening to
between
English Unfolded
correct and
UK.
natural is actually
Keep
one of the
learning.
most
Keep
interesting
growing.
challenges in
See you
language
next time.
learning.
So, what creates that gap?
Several things. The first and probably the biggest is chunks. Natural spoken English is not built word by word. It is built in chunks. Fixed phrases, collocations, expressions that native speakers use as single units without thinking about them. When I say chunks, I mean pieces of language that go together.
Can you give some examples?
Of course. Instead of saying, "I am very happy to meet you," a natural speaker might say, "Lovely to meet you," or "Great to meet you." Instead of "I do not have any idea," they would say, "I have no idea," or "I haven't got a clue." Instead of "it is possible that I will come," they would say, "I might pop by," or "I might make it."
And those other versions flow better and sound that bit more natural.
The word-by-word version is grammatically correct, but it sounds like someone reading from a phrase book. The chunked version sounds like a person. And the reason is that native speakers learn these chunks as whole units. They never assembled them word by word in the first place.
So, how do you actually learn to use chunks?
The key is to stop learning words in isolation and start learning words in their natural company. When you learn the words such as absolutely, don't just note its meaning, but what other words it appears with. Note the chunks it appears in. Can be absolutely fine, absolutely not, absolutely no idea, absolutely love it. Learn the whole phrase, not just the word.
So, every new word comes with its natural partners.
Exactly. Linguists call these collocations, it's words that naturally go together. Make a decision, not do a decision. Have a shower, not take a shower in British English. Miss an opportunity, not lose an opportunity. These combinations are fixed, and using the wrong one is one of the clearest signals that someone is not a native speaker.
What else creates that natural versus unnatural gap?
The second big thing is fillers and discourse markers. In real conversation, people do not speak in complete, grammatically perfect sentences. They pause, they think out loud, and they use certain words and phrases to do all of this.
Like what?
Things like, sort of basically, actually, right, I suppose, to be honest, the thing is, these are not meaningless filler words. They actually carry information. They signal that you are thinking, that you are about to make a point, that you want agreement.
And leaving them out makes speech sound very abrupt.
Very abrupt and very formal. If someone asks you a question and you immediately answer with a complete grammatical sentence, it sounds almost robotic. A natural speaker would say, "Well, I suppose it depends really," or, "it is hard to say without more context." The thinking aloud is part of the meaning.
What about intonation, the rise and the fall of the voice? Because I think that is something learners often overlook.
Intonation is massive, and it is one of the hardest things to teach because it is so unconscious for native speakers. But the basic principle is this: English uses intonation to carry emotion, attitude, and structure in ways that grammar alone cannot. The same sentence can mean completely different things depending on how it is said.
So intonation is where a lot of the real meaning lives.
A huge amount of it. And this is why tone of voice matters so much in English. particularly British English, where people are often saying one thing and meaning another. The intonation is the key to what is really being communicated.
How do you actually practice intonation?
The best way is shadowing. You take a piece of natural spoken English, a podcast, a short clip, a scene from a show you like, and you speak along with it at the same time, matching the rhythm, the stress and the intonation as closely as you can. Not translating, not thinking about grammar, just copying the music of the speech.
Like a musician learning to play by ear.
Exactly like that. You are not learning the notes individually, so you are learning the phrase, the melody, the feeling of how it moves. And it works remarkably well because you are training your mouth and your ear at the same time. And this is such a common issue. English has an enormous vocabulary and many words have formal and informal equivalents. Using the formal one in a casual conversation sounds very unnatural. Instead of commence, uses start. Instead of purchase, use buy. Instead of assist, use help. Instead of require, use need. The formal versions are not wrong. They are just for formal context. In everyday conversation, the simple short word is almost always the more natural choice.
So simpler is often more natural. What about vocabulary choices? Because I think sometimes learners use words that are technically correct, but slightly too formal or too academic for the situation. So our question for today: what is one chunk or expression in English that you have recently learned and started using? Something that made you feel more natural? Tell us in the comments or find us at EnglishUnfoldedUK.com. What is the single most useful thing a learner can do today to start sounding more natural?
Start noticing chunks. Every time you hear or read a natural piece of English, a podcast, a show, a conversation, notice the phrases that come as units. Write them down. Learn them whole. Stop learning English word by word and start learning it the way native speakers actually use it, in living, breathing, real-world phrases. Thanks for listening and join us again soon.